So hi YouTubers, this is Roxanne Holland from Rox's Cards and Crafts, and hello and a special shout out to my lovely members in Cricut Connect, where you will get to see these tutorials first, where I always try and incorporate any type of paper crafting. It doesn't really matter what you have to share with me, be scrapbook pages, cards. Cricut Connect is a group where I'm endeavouring to just get in and share, and if you share and I see a potential for me to be able to duplicate that and use in design space, yep, I'll probably show you how to do it. So come on over to Cricut Connect. Answer a few little questions below. Make sure you've got the newer model machines that use design space, and yeah, you'll have a lot of fun. So I posted a little, I just did this very quick hi because I'm always trying to find labels for my cards. So we're going to do this. So me mucking around with this got me thinking about using some dies and making a card. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. So my cards are, just going to go down a bit. So my cards are 4x6s. That's the card base, so that's your 8x6. Score at 4 inches down the middle. And my toppers, I generally always put a topper on my card. I'm going to unclick that padlock, and I'm going to do my topper, which only goes on one half of your base card, which is the front, hence the name topper. The width is going to be 3.75 and the height is going to be 5.75, so that's about just 1/4 of an inch in, which gives you 1/8 of an inch in from your base card. And this is where we're going to do all the work. Your base card, you can cut that by hand on your paper trimmer. So once again, any size that you use, I use a 4x6. I think the normal size is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 maybe. But see, we have 12x12 papers over here, so at least my 4x6s, I can get exactly 3 cards, 3 card bases from my 12x12 papers. So it always comes in as black. We are going to give that a lovely light colour. Let's go green. So I have coloured the background, and I'm going to, now for this B die, what you need to do is go to text, go to your font with your drop down menu there, go to system, type in little and it should come up, select little b, and it's always a good idea to bring your text over here so you can see what you're doing. So that's your little b. Then you go into your UWP character map. I've got a folder, so you can all sorts of folders there. You can create all your folders, favorites, and I've got Creative Fabrica where I have little b there. Now you need your character map here for these little swishes and swirls. So I'm going to go with a capital H. You can have a B going from the H as well if you want, but it's not really about that because we are cutting the H out of the topper card. I'm looking for the capital H's, so I don't want that one where it has a B. Just want a normal capital H, and there we go. So I'm just going to get rid of that. So you can go click that and it gives you a preview over here, and you can go add or you can double click. So it's the high, so we want a little I with the little b coming out. So the H I is going to be cut out of the card topper, And the B, we're going to turn that into a drawing. So I'm going to use this one. So I'll double click this time and it takes it down there. So go over to your right and go copy. This is what you do with UWP character map, but you may have another character map. The whole idea is to get this copy into Design Space. Let's minimize that. And with that highlighted, we're going to go Control V. And that brings in your little design. Now, right now it is way too big for our topper, but I need to do something. Now, if you go down to the right over here, you'll see that the contour symbol is grayed out, so we can't use this. So this is now completely a cutting file. So what I want to do is really make this big, and I'm going to cut that bit off. I'll just hide that square. So I'm going to bring in a shape to the left over here. Just select a square, that'll be fine. What I need to do is going to be a bit tricky. It probably needs to be I need it to cover all of the H and leave that one out. So use the arrows on your keyboard if you can. Get that perfect. So I'm cutting all the high out. Let's see. Very tricky. I'm doing this real time. So what I'm doing is I've got to get it in one cut. It probably might be easy to, I don't know if it's easy to do this side, which it might be. Let's have a look. I'm going to give it a real good tilt. So this is what you do. I'm not going to edit this. You've got to play around. That looks pretty good. Bring it in a bit. So I'm not touching anything there, but I still haven't got this. The only thing I can do there, because it's such a weird little design, is get another shape. Select that shape and your big square, that one there, and we're going to unite those. So that covers that. And then we need one to go over this. So that's another way, and I've never done that before. So that's real time. So you can weld the shape, so unlock your padlock. And this is teaching you how to use your shapes and welding them. So that's selected, your big square, combine, and I use unite now. Okay, make a liar out of me. You united? Are we united front? No. Select the big one and combine, unite. There you go. So now what we need to do is we need to make sure we've got this new shaped, what is it, a slicing square. Believe me, it's hard to come up with words. And we need to find our B underneath. Well, actually we don't. We just select the whole thing. Just select the whole thing and go slice. All right. Now, your slicing should come up the top. So just delete the first one and then delete the second one. And that should come away. So this is still a cut file, and we're turning this one into the pen because we're going to draw that. But then what we're going to do is, and I shouldn't have moved it, just make sure they flow nicely, those two, like they did. Get out. So it'll cut it and then it'll say change your pen, and then it will draw it. It's quite cute. So we're selecting both of those now and we're going to attach them. Okay. So we need to get our square that we got rid of before, which it represents our 3.75, 5.75 topper. I am only in 75%, so I'll go up to 100. They're together. And I'm going to cut those out of that, but I'm going to actually make, okay, so this is going to be cut out of white cardstock because that's what I use. My card base is white, but I don't want that to show through as white, so I'm going to put probably a yellow behind that and cut a yellow out. Possibly because it gives it a bit of colour and it's a bee. So what's happening there is, doesn't matter how big it is, just, yeah, that's something. Because what's going down this bit is a circle. So I'm going to try that. The shape is a circle, so I'm using a stitched die. But I've measured it and it's 2 1/8 of an inch, which is 2.125. If you can't turn your fractions to decimals, you will find in Cricut Connect's files a conversion sheet. You can print that out, and I refer to this all the time. It is in inches, but centimeters are a lot easier because you can just go point blah blah blah. So with inches you need to do the decimal point. So 2 1/8 is 2.125. That's the size of the stitch die that I'll be using, and I'll pretty much place it. All this is about is I'm not cutting this. What this is for is to just give me an indication as to where that circle is going to sit on my topper card. So I'm going to change that to, doesn't matter, orange or yellow, whichever you fancy. And I'm just going to take that out. I just need to know that it covers. All right. Well, it's only really meant to cover the high. Actually, yes. So before I should have done that, so I'm just going to detach. Like I said, this is designing. You go back and forth and back and forth because I haven't pre-done this design before I came on to do a tutorial. So what I want to do is to cut this high out of this card. I don't want it to be too big. In relative to this circle, it looks pretty cute because I'm going to have a stamp with one of Tim Holtz's Goofy Dogs saying hi. That's what I came up with. So I've selected the high and I'm going to select the green square. So press your shift key, select the green square, and I'm going to go combine and exclude. So that always comes to the front. You need to go arrange and send to back. And there's your high. So now what I need to do is select so you can rename these, don't forget to rename. So let's go draw a bee maybe. Draw a bee. So select the draw a bee and your green, it's in the colour, and your green card here, which has got this, which has got that one. Right, and then we go attach. So that green square now, which is here, consists of draw a bee, that exclude, and the slice result. So if I go into make it, all right, it's incompatible, sorry, because I've got all this writing up here, which is way, so what I'm going to do, and if you don't know how to do this, I'll show you. I'm going to put this all together. I'm going to select that, and I'm going to go cut. I'm going to go new project, and it's going to ask me to save this. So I'm going to go save. Sorry about that. I got a call from the husband doing the shopping. So we've got a new canvas page. Right click and paste. So that's if you want to transfer one design to another. Now that should be fine. So if I go to make that, don't worry, I should have hid that actually. I don't need that. So what I need is those two. You don't have to cut this yellow one out. You can once again cut it on your trimmer. I'm just giving you that option. And here it's got pen and basic cut. Okay, so I'm going to leave that there, and I've got it, my Explore Air 2 dial on custom. So I want to show you something. So go continue. I use Kaiser Craft Intricate 650 Smooth White. So I need to be out of this page. I'll go back. So these are mine, and I put all mine in pretty much capital letters, and it's got my materials. I'm just going to go back to canvas before I cut that. Go to those 3 stripes up to the left and go to manage custom material and press this, and I'm going to go I always have mine USB connected, and there you'll find all the settings. Now these are my dial settings. Say if I was just to use cardstock, the pressure is 307. But I have found with this, when I do my Kaiser Craft, I do the pressure at 140. So remember, on the dial it's 307, even 299. Light cardstock is 272. Light cardstock plus 287. So I'm actually going to turn mine up a bit. It's been a bit little lately. So I'm going to go over to the edit, and I'm just going to move that 140 probably up to a bit. Oh, that's good. I think you can change it like that. Let's go 150. No, you can't change it like that. You can click on it and use your, no you can't. Oh, it is so finicky. Come on. I want to put it up to about 150. See how there's 2 down buttons but no up buttons, so I'm having a bit of trouble moving it up precisely to 150. Oh, that'll do, 151. And I'm going to save. Now I have my Kaiser Craft on a very low pressure, but I have it cutting 3 times with a fine point blade. So I've just added that 150 times 3. Just go up to the top and close it. So I'm going to now, I'm just going to hide this. I don't need that. I'm just going to actually delete it. I'm going to make this and press continue. Now that I've altered my Kaisercraft, I'm going to select Kaisercraft, and then it says, so it's going to do the pen drawing first. So I'm just going to put my 0.4mm pen, black pen nib in. I only use a cheap Kmart one, and all I need is my fine point blade, where it's going to do 3 passes. So I'm going to go off and do that. Okay, so it's just been cut. I'm going to flip my mat over and just take off. Don't have to worry too much about flicking it over too much, because my mat is not ultra sticky, not like when you get a brand new one. So it's not going to bend my cards. So by cutting it, I'll just go in. I'll just turn off that light, see if that's any better. So by cutting it nice and not too fast, nice and slow, so backing off your pressure and cutting it more than once, you are left with a very crisp, clean cut. It's really good. I do this all the time when I want to make sure that my cards look professional. This one did leave that. Now I forgot about that. So this one did leave that little notch back on the mat, so I'll just glue that in separately. Not a big deal. Just make sure you don't lose it. So I will keep that on the mat for now. I don't have to do everything else. So what's going to happen is that I have a die like this, and it's going to go roughly about there. And I go roughly because our little puppy dog is going to go. So this is getting cut out of the card, and he is going on the base card. And then I'm going to put the yellow behind there. And so moving on to my Big Shot, Sizzix Big Shot die cutter. I've got a magnetic plate. I've got one cutting plate. Then I have my card. Bring that out a bit so it's nice and in the center. Place my card facing up, and then with your die, face that down so the cutting part cuts. And I'm going to center that. I would have liked it if I'd brought that down a bit. And I lost the little insert for the high, but you know what? This is card making. So I'm going to put on the other piece, and I'm going to run that through. I always do mine twice, and back the other way. And funny that puts the nice design on here and not there. Go figure. So now I have a pretty hole. But anyway, I've done it. Okay, so when I went off camera, because I didn't take into consideration that this cross-stitch die set actually just cut the circle and put the pretty X's, the cross-stitching on the circle, which left the card just with a circle, which I could have cut out on the Cricut. So what I did was I took the one that, let me move this. I took the one that I used as a circle, I stuck that down, and then I took the next big one And what you do is you make sure the big one is within that square. So I'm using the same colour yellow as where the bee is down here. So it's the same colour. And two things happened. It cut out a nice frame, and I didn't have to go and, why that's sticky, and I didn't have to move this because I was going to go in and redo this and move it down. However, it was meant to be. So it created, most of my cards I'm sure are created from mistakes. So it created a lovely cross stitch frame. Now you can make this frame if you want in Design Space, but I do like using the dies with the different stitches. So I got to use a die for that. So I'm not going to cut that out because that's what you get. This is my Misty. So the next step is we've made the topper, and now we've got the card, and I happen to have one that's landscape and opening up. So I'm going to put that, look, you can put it anywhere. I've got an old cut up sticky mat in there. So that's just going to hold that nicely. So that's the front of the card. So what we did was the topper, and I'm going to make sure that I place that topper where it will be placed with the 1/8 of an inch border around there. Hold that and very, very lightly grab a lead pencil and very lightly draw a circle. It's going to be very lightly because you're going to rub that out. So draw a circle on the inside of that circle and take the topper away. So you're going to grab a stamp of your choice, and following that circle, you want to stick him. I don't think it's going to be right if he's all in shot. I really just want his head and probably most of his body, why not, in the middle of the circle. Put down the lid, pick it up. Now I'm using VersaFine ink, black, so I'm just going to put that ink on there and stamp it down. Get my trusty swiper, and we're going to lift that up, and that is perfect. I'm going to colour him in, or you can just leave him black and white. There is a step before I finish. I forgot to tell you to rub out that faint pencil. So go ahead and rub that out. And then also what I wanted to do was I've got some diamond dots. My mother does diamond dot painting, and I have inherited a whole heap of little diamond dots, which are great for things like, he has a collar. Just put his collar with a little dangly bit, so he can have a nice shiny, and I thought there's too much yellow, so I'll give him, it looks like a boy, I'll give him a blue diamond dot for his collar. Then I'm going to stick that card to there, and then you have him saying hi, and that's your card. So thanks for watching. I'm sorry if it turned out a bit long. I always think that my videos are going to be quick, but they're also very technical, especially when design space is involved. I will show you a finished card also at the end with a frame that I cut on your Cricut. All right, guys, let me know what you think in the comments and in the group, and hope to see some lovely cards popping up with this design. Don't forget, I will leave a link to Creative Fabrica with little B font in the description, and see you in the next tutorial. Bye for now.